Welcome back. I've been making this one for 5 years. Why are we doing this with 68-year-old men out there that aren't even wearing glasses? They aren't wearing glasses. Welcome back. It is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. I am Aaron Smith, joined by Ed Mayhall. Jeff may or may not be here this week. We really aren't sure at this point.
I'm sure he's not going to be here this week. I read the text the correct way.
I'm not so sure. When you say, let's talk about this before we get to the very first point, before we get to how our weeks have been. When someone says, I'm going to do this, say it's Sunday, okay? Say it's Sunday. And they say, I'm going to do this for the next 4 Tuesdays. Is it the next 4 in sequential order? Or is it starting next week? And then those 4 Tuesdays.
But the message was, are they still working you to the bone, or are you going to be back this week? And the response was, still working me to the bone, but I'll be back for the next 4 weeks.
Going back to my example, on Sunday, if you were to say, Ed, I'm going to do that this Wednesday, that means the following Wednesday, right?
Okay.
If you say, I'm going to do that for you next Wednesday, are you just skipping over this week? Like, let's
say it one more time. I got the process in my head again. Say it one more time.
It's Sunday, or even today, and I say, hey, let's have dinner next Tuesday. Well, not Tuesday's not work. Let's have dinner next Sunday.
I'm not driving out to Piqua to get dinner.
Well, I don't live in Piqua.
Or Canton, wherever you're at.
I don't live in Canton. What? Wrong. What are you doing?
I'm not driving out to the.
If I said, let's have, I'm gonna be in town. Fuckface.
Oh, okay, all right, that works better. Thank you.
Let's have dinner on Sunday night. Next Sunday night. Would you think this Sunday, as in 5 days from now, or would you think a week from Sunday?
Are you asking me my honest response?
I'm asking the wrong person.
Because my honest response would be, well, dinner where?
You're just showing up both Sundays.
I mean, depending on where dinner's at, it's a possibility. Yeah.
I hate you.
You don't hate me. You just like the honesty. That's all. Is that a fan? What's up? Squirrel.
How was your week?
It was decent, man. It was pretty good. Had a busy week at work. Topped off with a not a busy day on Saturday. Got to hang out for a little bit. Got to chill. We went down to the FC went down to Washington Park for that pre-party before the FC Cincinnati game. That was a good time. And then just chilled on Sunday. Played the last basketball game. Coached the last assistant coach basketball game. I think I might be coach next year. I think we'll find out. But yeah, that was pretty good. How about yours?
Brennix is officially crawling.
Ooh.
She's taken
R.I.P. to your chilling life.
Several moves forward. We're doing some of this. 1, 2, 3. I think she did up to 5. I think that's our record right now. So that's where we're at there. I guess 7 months old now, so that's about where she's supposed to be at anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna need all the baby gates.
We got a couple. We'll be good. We got a couple. But that was pretty much my big thing this past week. That said, the biggest topic of the day today that I'm just hearing about, I don't know if it made news in Cincinnati prior to today, I guess. 513 as an area code.
Yeah, that was huge. Like
RIP.
839, is that what they said?
I thought it was 283.
283? I don't know. It was something. It wasn't 513. That's been like a state, like everything you see around here is like 513, right? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of our brand, I guess. And now it's well, that's going to be weird. I'm going to
Because
be
you
used
knew
to calling them.
anytime you saw 859, you knew that was Northern Kentucky. Anytime you
Boom.
saw 937, that was, up around the Dayton
area.
And now we are not.
Nick started off with violence tonight.
Is that
Nick?
one of your
I don't know who that is. With Nick Clark starting off with violence. Can't wait for Huggins to return to fifth third next season. Nick, I'm there with you, buddy. No, I'm not really, but I just wanted to give you some support.
If he's still coaching next year, I feel like his better days are behind him. We'll see.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off the area code topic, but did you watch? I decided to watch West Virginia versus Iowa last night to prep myself for next season.
I'm not watching West Virginia.
Okay, all right.
How did it go, though?
It was a Big 12 game. It was a cat fight, dude. Battled back and forth.
Who are they playing?
Iowa.
Are they already in conference tournament?
I don't think it was a conference tournament. I think it was no.
Because Iowa was playing Indiana tonight. I don't think it was Iowa. Iowa State? Because Iowa's not even in.
Yeah, Iowa State.
The same conference.
Well, I said Big 12, so I figured you knew it'd be Iowa State.
Well, you have both Iowa and Iowa State as teams, so
that's on me. But it was a dog fight, man. It was back and forth. I thought there was gonna be a brawl a couple times.
A cat fight or a dog fight?
I'm gonna switch to dog fight. I'm gonna switch to dog fight.
All right.
But it was a pretty good game. We're gonna have some competition next year. We knew that, but it's what it is. But yeah, back to the area code. Yeah, I'm not ready for this.
No, I think it's a little piece of me died today. Like,
it's been like a thing for years, and I don't know.
Forever, it's always been a thing. The end. Like, since area codes became a thing, it's been the only area code in the tri-state area.
Is this? Somebody said we're running. Oh, Jeff said we're running out of a phone number, 513 phone number. So
that's the only reason that you would do this.
Do we need to? Like a 7-digit phone number. Is there not infinite?
No, there's not infinite.
You have 7 digits.
There's a limit because you have 7 digits.
Why didn't we think about this before when we started, giving out like Alexander Graham Bell? Why didn't he?
It was on him to know that there were going to be cell phones and Google numbers, and
you can't think forward ahead in 1876, like
unreal. Everything.
You're impressed that I knew that year it was, right? 1876.
You could have made up a number. That would be the least surprising thing of this entire conversation.
Just ask Reba.
Oh my God.
Back in 1876, an old boy named invented a contraption that.
All right, stop that. All of that. Don't do that anymore.
Okay,
I'm not kidding. So where do you want to start this week?
Should we just get basketball over with? I know you've talked about it probably 3 or 4 times already in the last couple of days.
That goes for me.
Yeah, I mean, not much you could say that anybody else hasn't said. I mean, the story of the game is sloppiness, just straight sloppiness. I'm not even going to try to remember how many turnovers there were in the first half, and then just double that in the second half. Would they end up with like 20 turnovers or something like that? Not the good kind, right? Not the Apple turnovers, the bad kind. And weren't hitting threes in the first. Started hitting threes towards the end. Vic with that lob to try to get us back into it. Couple phantom calls, but you can't put yourself in that situation. You can't put yourself in that situation to get a phantom call. So, I mean, do I like losing to Memphis for the very last time in conference play? No, I don't like. But just in my head, I'm just going to always remember that when Penny was actually on the court, he could never beat us. Well, he beat us one time, but
one time.
I think he played us 9 times and he lost 8 or something like that. I could be off on that number, but it's around there. I don't like it. I think, Landers got a little bit too emotional in that game. tries to come out and shoot the lights out, but
Well, I mean, couldn't even bring the ball up the court as he got the ball stripped out of his hands two possessions in a row.
Yeah.
Wasn't ideal, and I feel like after that, he was in his head for the large majority of the game until he came back to life at the very end of the game. The goaltending was phantom. Come on, man, that was not goaltending.
Oh no, you're right. It was phantom, and if that goaltending is not called, we win by 1 point. I went back to the math. We win by 1 point because we would not have to make that last foul at the end.
The goaltending wasn't there. It was not coming down. That's not how goaltending works.
I've seen Kenyon do that play many times in the early 2000s.
I don't know about many, but I don't know. I mean, it was sloppy. It was. I feel like the point that we got to last night was that Cincinnati didn't play the way that the refs were calling the game. They weren't calling much reach in. They weren't calling much on Memphis and the way that Memphis was playing defense on Cincinnati while they were bringing the ball up court, while they had the ball, trying to set their offense up, all of that. And I don't feel like Cincinnati really got that same flow going on defense. And I think that was the difference. Chad brought up the first 8 minutes and the last 8 minutes of the game. Cincinnati had one turnover in each of those segments.
Yeah, I remember him saying that last night.
And obviously that's a huge difference in the game when you only turn the ball over twice in those segments and 18 times in between in those 24 minutes. That's terrible. Those
44% from field goal on field goals in the first half, 23%, 3 for 13 on the 3-pointers in the first half, and then turn around the second half and hit 3 for 3.
What do you know? In the second half,
No.
we were 7 of 14
sorry.
from 3.
Yeah, 7 for 14 for 3. Sorry, it got switched up again. Dyslexia. Sorry about that. I was looking at free throws.
Yeah. I don't know. It was Kendrick Davis ends up going 8 of 22. DeAndre Williams 10 of 18. They combined for 43. I believe in the first game they combined for 47. Those are just two dudes. And 8 of 22, while it's not great as just as a percentage, not a great shooting night for Kendrick Davis, but it's still enough to get the job done, as he did go 6 of 6 from the line. He was able to get enough penetration to make a difference there and make up for the shots that he was missing. It's certainly a frustrating loss because you want to see this team be able to get over the hump, win one of these big games. I know Chad got mad at me last night when I said that you split with Temple, you split with Tulane. I still don't. Yes, they are above you in the standings, or the Temple was before Cincinnati beat them, but you still haven't beat the top 2 teams. 2 of 8, or 2. I'm sorry, 2. 1 2 of 8. You ended up 2 and 6 against the top 4 teams in the league outside of Cincinnati, and that's not where I want this program to be. But the 21 wins, as it looks like they're going to achieve before the end of the season, is about where we had them when Chad and I discussed that preseason. So, do you think that this season has been a success overall?
I'm going to call it a success. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't going to call it success because a lot of people are calling for Wes's head, which I think is stupid. But I think I did see some growth in these players this year.
Can't call for Wes's head when he literally signed a contract extension.
I can't handle people.
A month ago.
There's some growth. It stayed in some games. We'll call it a success. Yeah, I mean, hopefully next year. Well, you want to say hopefully next year we'll see a little bit of growth or a little, a better record. But then going into the Big 12, we don't know how that's going to look.
I don't think it matters if you have a better record. If you finish with 21 wins in the Big 12, then you're getting in the tournament.
Oh, well, that's a fair point as well. That's actually a solid point. So, I mean, yeah, if we finish 21 wins next year, that's even better. But, it's not where we wanted to be, but it's like where we expected to be.
So not above expectations, not below expectations, but
that median.
Right there as expected.
Yeah, as expected.
In the presser today, Wes mentioned that 3 guys are going to be walking for senior day, and those 3 are going to be the 3 who don't have eligibility left.
Yep.
In David DeJulius, Kalua Zikpe, and Rob Finnessy, and said that they aren't worrying about the guys who have eligibility left, and they'll have those conversations with the guys at the end of the season.
Said he would like to have them back, but those conversations have not been had yet.
So people already freaking out one way or the other. That means these guys are back. That means these guys are not back. Who knows?
We don't know.
What do you take out of that conversation?
What's he supposed to say? Right?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
What's he supposed to, in the presser, probably with the guys in the locker room, probably listening in, what's he supposed to say? I don't want JD back next year. Or if JD comes back next year, he's playing extremely limited minutes. No, that's a conversation. If, that is something he doesn't want, right? JD back or low minutes. That's a conversation that he's going to have in private with the player, right? He's not going to tell Justin or, Chad or anybody.
You're also not going to say, I want 3 of the 5 guys back. And then wonder,
and have guys in the locker room wondering, which 3 else does he want? Especially if you're trying to go into conference tournament and possibly make a run in the conference tournament.
He had to go to practice today after the press conference. You think that somebody's not going to be live tweeting?
You think they're not following back. Justin?
These guys aren't coming back.
These guys are absolutely following Justin and reading Justin's live tweets.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else he's supposed to say in that situation. He said that he didn't want it to be a distraction, which is why they're not having the conversations with those guys yet, not doing it before senior day. And the only guys that are going to be walking are the guys that literally can't come back. I like the way it's being handled. I think that COVID obviously changed some things to where just because you're a senior means that you're done or you're not done. Nobody knows anymore.
Right.
But I think he handled it about as well as you can. What the hell else are you supposed to do?
I mean, if it was me, right, and I didn't care, I'd be like, yeah, well, there's some guys on this team I still want to be here. Some guys I don't, and I'm going to let them figure that out.
That's this is why you don't.
This is why I don't coach. Yeah, this is why. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm also an asshole, so that.
So I don't know. Here in the chat, Daryl says Wes will end up at the end being a better coach than Mick, probably better than Hugs. I'd be totally good with that. That means that we've had a lot of success in the Big 12.
Where are you seeing?
What?
Comments aren't showing up for me. I didn't see that comment on here.
Maybe they're turned off. I don't know. It says guests can see comments.
I'm not a guest. That's weird.
And John asks, what's your guys' personal preference on Micah and Jeremiah coming back, experienced players for the Big 12, or time to move on?
I think Micah showed more growth this year than. Well, I don't know. I guess that's hard to say. I mean, Jeremiah did take the bench and did take the kind of role coming off the bench, and from what we see, has not complained about it and has not, tweeted, "Oh, this is ridiculous," stuff like that. Yeah. But I think last year we were saying that Micah shouldn't come back, and I think he kind of proved us wrong a little bit this year. He had spurts of being good. I was about to say greatness. I didn't want to say greatness though. He had spurts of being good. Like I said, if Jeremiah is coming back, I'd like to see a lot of work put in over the season, over the off season, not just chucking up 3-point prayers. And
I think the biggest problem with Jeremiah is he's not a 3, he's not a 4. And that leaves him in no man's land. Where,
but it also puts Wes in like this, and I was thinking about this today. It puts Wes in like this real weird predicament, right? Because when Jeremiah signed, when he committed to Cincinnati, it was like, oh, the hometown kid, all this kinds of stuff. And so we put a lot into that. We put a lot into, that he was born and raised here in Cincinnati. He's a product of Cincinnati.
So did he. He has the eyes and the skyline tattooed on his whole entire chest.
And I understand that was, what in the world happened to my camera?
I don't know the answer to that question, Ed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is ridiculous. There we go. I know it was before Wes took over the team. I know it was even before John took over the team, right? He committed back in mix last year or something like that. Possibly.
That sounds about right, actually.
I want to say it was about there. So, it's not Wes's problem. It does kind of turn into Wes's problem a little bit. But, like all great leaders do, they got to make a decision. He has to make a decision. Like, is he going to hurt this kid's feeling and let him sit on the bench for,
JD Brandon's first commit.
Oh, was it? Okay. All right. That's on me then.
I know it was between Cincinnati and I believe Wright State was his second option.
Okay.
My alma mater.
So, I mean, do you say, hey man, you stay on the team, but you're going to get limited minutes, or you can go to another school where you're going to get more minutes, possibly, and more. That's just a tough decision he has to have with the kid.
Yeah, well, I like I said, I mean, he's not a 3, not a 4, and it leaves you in a weird place. You would hope that you can find somebody better than Jeremiah Davenport, whether in the portal. Or, I mean, I guess that's your only other option. Even with Micah, I know you have Day and Jizzle coming as your point guards to choose from, really. As if you're looking at these guys to take steps back as far as minutes go, I think that maybe there's a spot for them on this team, including Jeremiah. And when I say step back, I don't know that I would want to see him more than 15 minutes.
Giving guys just a breather.
I think he's a situational spot shooter.
Yeah.
He's not offering you a ton defensively at all in this conference. And looking at the Big 12, I think he's probably offering you less defensively.
Yeah, you're right.
Odie, well, I would be less harsh on anybody if Odie came back. Same with John Newman. John came from the ACC initially, and I think that John would be just fine in the Big 12, especially in the role that he would be taking on, which is defensive specialist, glue guy, that kind of thing. Senior leader. But
do you think there's any chance, and I tweeted him today, do you think there's any chance that Nolly comes back for 5th year?
Why did you tweet him?
Because he tweeted last home game, and I was like, yeah, but not last home game of the career, right? That's all I did. It was a retweet. It wasn't like
it was a quote tweet.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Landers,
I would love to see it.
He would, sure. We would all love to see it. The problem is, with all the guys that you're bringing in for next year, with the NIL and all of that, are you going to be able to bring him in with the NIL dollars that would take to bring in Landers Nolly to make it more lucrative than him going to the G League or overseas? If that doesn't pan out, we'll see.
Keep forgetting about the NIL. Yeah, no, you're right. You'd hope like maybe he'd take like an NIL cut, just to try to because we're not playing Memphis next year, so that doesn't even work. Yeah, that's you're right. Sorry, I had to think that one out loud. You're right. That's an issue. That is an issue.
Some might call it a conundrum.
Yeah, or a kerfuffle.
That's not. Nope.
No, not a kerfuffle.
kerfuffle is between two parties. Anywho. So you have one more game against SMU to finish out the season. And Cincinnati looking to be in that 4-5 spot, probably locking up the 5 spot, I believe, in the tournament, which means they will probably be taking on Temple. How are you feeling about Cincinnati's chances against Temple in a rubber match before, if they win, having to take on Houston?
Yeah. So that's going to be a tough one, right? We played them back on February 22nd. We won in overtime, 88-83. And back when we played them in January 1st, we lost 61-70. So you can't really get a gauge off of that. You hope that because it's conference tournament, these guys kind of fire, right? Like that fire in the ass. And maybe just go on a run off of adrenaline and hopes and dreams. It's a crapshoot for me on that one. I'm obviously gonna I'm obviously gonna say that I want. Yeah, I'm gonna. If I had a bet on it, I bet on UC
to beat Temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in that adrenaline and that whatever it might be.
So say they beat Temple. I'm okay with them. I'm okay with the. You're not at home. You're not on the road. Exactly. You're
Texas,
you're
right?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Yeah.
But I think you can beat Temple. I think that this team is clicking enough to where they should beat Temple as long as what's his name, Damian Dunn, I believe, doesn't have another absolutely insane game. I think he went for 34 in the last 36 last game.
34.
He's really good. But if they beat them, they would have to take on Houston the next day. Houston coming off a bye.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's tough.
Houston being a buzzsaw. I don't know. Is Marcus Sasser injured?
I don't know.
I think he got injured last week, and I believe he came back in that game. So I don't know if he's still sitting out or not. Regardless, it doesn't.
I typed in Marcus Sasser into Google, and it pre-populated Marcus Sasser obituary.
Oh, well, he's not dead.
No.
But Houston, I guess, again, Cincinnati has not been able to win any games against Houston in the last couple seasons. Have not won any games against Memphis in some time.
Yeah.
So playing either team in the tournament, I don't feel like it's going to bode well. I want this team to surprise me. I just don't feel great about it.
I'd like him to surprise me too. But again, like you said, highly unlikely.
So we have a couple episodes of this show before we have to get into who we like, favorite moments of the guys leaving or of the seniors or of the season and all of that. We're not quite there yet. Having to do a full obituary to the season or anything like that, to use the word that you just found. We'll see if this team ends up getting into the NIT. I still think that's a real possibility. If they
that's the only one that Wes said he would go into, right? The NIT. We won't go into that CIB
or the NCAA, of course, if you should win the tournament. But yeah,
we don't hang a banner if we win the NIT, right? We're not Xavier.
We don't hang any banners in the. Have you been to? You've been.
We don't have like a celebration like Xavier.
There's no banners.
I understand. We don't have like we don't designate a game next year to celebrate it at halftime, right? Like that, we don't do that.
No, I think you can have a guys come onto the court to wave at halftime, and
maybe they zoom in.
Let that be that. Ew. Zoom? Ew.
Teams.
You just have the guys who are still around, aren't playing elsewhere.
We give Xavier so much shit for celebrating an NIT win. I don't want to.
It's not a celebration if it's like in a TV timeout or a halftime.
Yeah, still get out on Twitter though. So I'll take a picture.
I imagine you'd have to do it because Wes isn't coming out of the locker room at halftime. We'll
give rings.
You'd have to do it in either I don't even know. You could do it in a TV timeout. You'd have to do it in like pregame. I don't really know that you can celebrate. Maybe you do it during a football game.
Maybe do it during maybe like during
a football game,
like a Midnight Madness or something.
Maybe. I don't have anything else on basketball. Gym? Do you have anything else on basketball?
No, I have nothing else on basketball.
All right. I don't know if you heard golf. The golf team won their tournament.
I did hear that down in
Puerto Rico.
Good for them.
There were several ranked teams down there, including number 2 in the country, Duke. But they were able to beat everybody. The second championship as the indoor track and field team, second championship in as many weeks as the indoor track and field team last week, won their conference title.
All right.
So things are looking up.
Is tomorrow night the home opener?
It is the home opener for
Bearcats. It would be a nice evening too. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees out, so everybody hit up that. That'd be nice. That'd be some nice baseball weather. Put on a hoodie.
It's also supposed to be sunny. It's not supposed to be like overcast and 70 or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that'll be good for everybody. Ask and you shall receive. David Mann. He said, any interest in designating some FCC and UFC segments, at least until football gets rolling? I do know that I will be in attendance for a handful, or roughly several, I guess. Not quite a handful, but several.
UFC matches?
Not indoor. No. Spring football practices.
Oh, okay.
But Ed, you watched the FCC game. You have a couple thoughts for the way that game went. I know they were favorites, I believe, going into the game.
Yeah. So, started out the season playing Houston Dynamo. Electric crowd. I went down to Washington Park, like I said at the beginning of the show. Went down to Washington Park, took the boys down to celebrate the home opener. Nice little setup they got down there. I don't know if it's like this for every game. Maybe somebody could tell me. But everything was free. So they had inflatable slides free for the kids. They had like inflatable, I had different inflatable things free for the kids. Some of the food trucks, like the first 300 meals were like, we went to this cookie food truck and the first 300 cookies were free, paid for by FC Cincinnati. So that was pretty sweet. And they have face painting and a picture booth. The picture was free. It was a good time. So if anybody knows if that's free all the time, let me know, because I'll take the boys down there some more. The boys did have to teach though. There goes my camera again.
What's going on with you, man?
It's this box that I bought to switch between my work computer and this computer. I think I'm gonna have to take the camera off of it.
Possessed.
It's kind of weird. There we go. We're back. Where was I? Anyways, so we tried to go to, because I don't have the MLS season pass for Apple TV. I might be getting it. I did not know that it was free. God, this stupid camera. I swear, I'm gonna unplug it here in a little bit and plug it into a regular port. So we tried to go to Buffalo Wings and Rings to watch the game. They told us they were gonna have it on. They didn't have it on. So I watched the first half on my phone. It started off Brenner, who is one of my favorite players, sat on the bench for the first half of the game. He actually did just come back from, the country has just slipped my mind, but his home country. He had some family things down there, but actually led a chance for some guys who we haven't really seen score goals before. Santos scored a goal in the first 19 minutes of play after an assist by Barrial, who's one of Parker's or Bryce's favorite players. And then after halftime, the 48-minute, I am not even going to try to pronounce this gentleman's name. Now Bodie, Obina, I think is his name, Obina Nabodi. I could actually be pretty close to that. Scored a goal, and so that brought it to 2-1, and they held on to that lead for the whole game. Brenner came in with, I don't know, like he came in the 62nd minute. He had a couple chances, to score. A couple times he was wide open, and Acosta didn't see him, so didn't make that pass. But from what I could see on the TV, it was electric down there. The chants were the battle cries, which chants, whatever they call them, were electric. They had the smoke bombs going on, all that good stuff. It looked like a great game. Everyone that I talked to said the atmosphere in there was wild. And I mean, building off of what we started with last year, last year we ended the season on a pretty good route, made it to the playoffs. And I think we're just going to keep building off of that. There's a possibility. Well, I'm probably getting too deep into this, but I'm listening to a couple podcasts, reading a couple articles. It's a possibility that, Brenner may not be on the team after the second half of the season. He wants to go play overseas. And there's a lot of interest for that. He almost got traded during the preseason. But I might have to go ahead and get the Apple TV. The production, like David said, he's saying Apple TV MLS production is top notch, worthy to buy if you have the interest. Rave reviews all around. I thought it was too. I think Apple TV does a pretty good job at most of their broadcasts. There's a couple Reds games that were on Apple TV last year, and I liked it. They're using those 7K cameras or whatever they are. So, it is what it is, but it's a good start, good win. Houston Dynamo, not a great team, but it's good to get that first win of the season in front of your home crowd, get that momentum going into the year. Their next game is, I believe, Saturday. I'm trying to pull it up right now. It is away against Orlando City. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't know. I'm excited. I saw that Bango went down there and checked and tried to get in the Bailey. He kind of gave a little review on Twitter. If you follow Bangalorian on Twitter, he had some good things to say, some criticisms, which are fair. So I don't know. I'm excited. Did you watch any of it? I know the answer.
Hell no. Come on,
hell
man.
no, you didn't. But you're out here betting on soccer, but you didn't watch any of it. All right. That's fine.
Yeah, because if I've heard the name of your team, or I know the name of your team, you're probably good, unless you're in the city of which I am from.
I did place a bet on Brenner to score a goal anytime. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I tried.
Place the bet on FC Cincinnati to win.
So Michelle did that. She placed a bet both teams to score, FC Cincinnati to win, and she won like $50. So
she's smarter than you.
She's pretty good at this sports gambling thing.
By the way, if you are looking to sign up with a sports betting website, download Betfred on your phone. Use the promo code Bearcat, BEARCAT, for your Bearcat Journal promotions. I know that they're still giving out $111 for the first couple weeks in free bets if you place a $50 bet every week. And that supports the people at Bearcat Journal while also trying to win yourself money. They give out, I've had pretty good success with the Betfred boosts that they've had, their daily boosts. Some of those are pretty good. So,
and I think it's fair to say, because I don't think we're ever going to like fully cover in depth FC Cincinnati, but I've been trying to
no, we're not.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to kind of, build my soccer knowledge, with the boys playing and, these guys doing pretty successful. So I've been listening to Cincinnati Soccer Talk podcast. So they do a pretty good job of explaining things and breaking it down. So if anybody else is looking to learn a little bit more about FC Cincinnati and MLS soccer, that's one I found so far.
I'm sweating one out, Aaron. I did what I hate.
Did you put a bet in?
The parlayed.
The boost was a 4-team parlay.
I think we're on the same one. Did you take the Ohio one or did you take the other one?
The other one.
Okay, the Ohio one was dreadful.
Yeah, no, the other one, there is one that something happened in one of them that's got me concerned. So it was Marquette, money line Marquette over Butler, money line, and Marquette won 72-56. Money line Kansas at home over Texas Tech. Halftime Kansas is up 31-20. Money line Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Texas A&M is up 30. And the one that's got me nervous right now, Tennessee money line over Arkansas. Tennessee is up 34-25. However, their starting point guard went down early in the first half, and it's risky.
Your audio did something wild there.
It was what I thought it was me. I was so
It was
glad
like-
that you popped on.
It was like a second and a half where it just was like your whole microphone got covered up with tinfoil and you were speaking through the tinfoil.
I think it was. I was looking at the score page on ESPN and the ad started playing, so I think it screwed everything up.
Gotcha.
It sounded like you were abducted by aliens.
I hit mute real quick, so it fixed it. But
Good job.
Yeah, I'm not like 4-team parlay. I'd kind of rather shoot myself in the toe.
You put 50 on it?
I did.
Yeah, you're trying to get the 111. I like your style.
That's what kept killing me. Is I kept getting on these parlays. These parlays are great. And at first I was winning. I was winning parlays.
The promotion I have with Betfred is every week you get 111 bonus dollars if you do a $50 bet. So you have to do one bet for $50.
Okay.
And this boost was up to 230. So it's a pretty nice little chunk of change if it hits. And really, if you're looking at that one on a money line standpoint, I had no concerns Marquette at Butler. None. Kansas at home against Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been better lately. They've been a little pesky, but Kansas is number 3. They're playing for a Big 12 title. At home, they should beat Texas Tech. Texas A&M is 13-3 in the SEC. Ole Miss is 3-13. You should feel good about a road game in that scenario, taking Texas A&M.
Is it a senior day for Kansas? Do you know?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure.
That's what I feel like. That's almost what you have to watch out for right now. You don't want to get beat on somebody else's senior day.
But the Tennessee one concerned me because Arkansas's got Nick Smith back. They've got a chance to knock off Tennessee at home, and then Tennessee's point guard goes down. I have a feeling I'm going to be sweating this one down to the wire with Arkansas really putting some heat on Tennessee late in that game.
Well, for whatever it's worth, Bowling Green, Toledo, Kent State, and Akron all did win.
Oh, and wow. That one hit.
That one hit. I only put 5 on it, but it won me 15. But
what was the boost?
Plus 170.
To what?
To 200.
Okay. Fair. So yeah, 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, your 50 would have
2-1.
Your 50 would have brought home 150.
My 50s, it was 230 for the one that I took.
On Maction.
I don't know shit about Maction.
Ohio Maction.
You are okay with betting things you don't know anything about.
Yes.
I'm not.
He's betting on soccer.
I put $5 on it, man.
No. I understand why. Even at $5, I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable betting on things I just am not. You're doing it for different reasons than me. You're doing it for the entertainment.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm doing it to win money.
I'm gambling again.
So if I do it, I felt going into that one, I felt really good about 3 of those 4. 75% chance to hit a 230.
I talk myself into all of them. I feel really good when I hit go. I feel good about all of them.
I don't talk myself into anything.
There's not. Chad, I placed like 35 bets today, all within the range of 50 cents to $5. Like
and this is
somewhere in there. 50
so
cents to $5
for the people just tuning in. This is what Aaron will do, like when we're off the air and we're talking before and after a show. He'll be like, "Oh man, I got 94 cents on so and so. I got 94 cents on Will Barton to have 12 points and 4 assists tonight."
Well, that was my Brenner bet on Saturday night. I had $1 left, and so I put $1 on Brenner. I would have made 15. That's fine.
No. But you were betting a guy that in a game that you're watching,
yeah, it's true,
to score a goal.
Yeah.
Aaron is betting like over under 12.5 points on guys that average 14.
And then it's flipping between all the channels when we get done with this, trying to see like I got action everywhere. What's going on?
Last time I checked, I didn't see it, but does Betfred have XFL betting?
I believe so, yeah. I think I saw it on the weekend.
Okay. I'd get into that a little bit. Just real quick, though, to wrap up soccer talk, because I did write some notes down, but then I left them on my desk at work. So David Mann did bring up what I believe was my last bullet point in my notes. I remember writing this down, but it is a good sign to have production from guys on the team scoring that are not your top 3 scorers, Brenner, Vasquez, and Acosta. So that is a very good point, David. It's good to see some other guys score. Also,
not if you're gambling. If you're gambling, you're probably gambling on your top 3 guys to score.
It's also why I struggle with gambling. But also, I don't know if any of you guys watched Welcome to Wrexham on FX. Rob McElhaney. Thank you, McElhaney.
Always Sunny.
And Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team in Wales. AFC Wrexham, I think is what their name is, or Wrexham AFC, one of those two. And they're actually bringing that team to the United States this summer to play Manchester United and Chelsea. So that's going to be pretty cool. And also, we covered the TBT tournament. What was that, in fall, spring?
No, it was like
summer,
late summer, early fall, late summer.
There is a TSC tournament that's going to be played this year in North Carolina. It's a soccer tournament from the same people, and there will be alumni from Wrexham playing in that. And I think I also heard there might be alumni from FC Cincinnati playing in that. So if anybody wanted to go have a weekend in North Carolina and watch some soccer, that'd probably be a good time.
That's 90 seconds. I'm never going to get that.
Yeah, well, that's the second soccer segment that we've done. So
today, I know it's just finishing up that soccer segment.
It felt so long. Thank you to the 18 people who are still here with us. We appreciate you.
Some people like soccer. David Mann likes soccer.
That all said,
that's true. 50 Walls.
So we have a couple different topics we can talk about then. We can talk about the Reds and what they've been doing in spring training so far.
Can we talk about Joey Votto's response to MLB?
Let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to say on Betfred, I was able to take the over on 65.5 wins for the Cincinnati Reds. Pretty excited about that bet. I think I put $25 on that, and that's paying 1-to-1. You win $50, or 2-to-1, I guess. $50 on that. If you, I don't know. I think they're going to be better than 65.5 wins. Not by much, but I think they're going to be better.
Yeah, maybe better than 65. Yeah.
I put them around that 70, 72.
It comes down to one thing, right? Like,
Kathy says the Reds were on fire today.
Did anybody put them out?
Red hot.
Was there a fire extinguisher?
For the Reds. Red hot.
Don't put it out with your boots again, Ted.
He called a shit poop.
I don't think they're going to be a good offensive team. I don't think their bullpen is going to be good. In fact, I think their bullpen is going to be an abject disaster.
So on par for what it's been the last 5 years.
They refuse
not the
to
last
spend
5
money.
years.
50 since 91, 90,
Had a
90,
pretty good
like
bullpen when what's his face was here.
You're gonna have
Chapman?
to be a little more specific
No,
than what's his face.
Bauer.
He was a starter.
Trevor Bauer.
He didn't pitch in the bullpen.
But the bullpen was you're right. They did this. Never mind. I just
They
forgot.
blew like 4 of his games, 5 and 6 of his games in that Cy Young year.
The playoff game, yeah.
Yeah. Like they haven't had a good bullpen since Rob Dibble, Randy Myers, and Norm Charlton.
I mean,
There.
it's been a while.
They just don't spend any money on it. Like they don't value it. They think you can just like
It's kind of like the Bengals with linebacker, right?
and guard. Like, yeah, those positions don't matter. We don't value them. We're going to spend our money elsewhere. And then you get torched by tight ends over the middle and nose tackles eating your quarterback alive.
Hey, Tonk.
Tom. Tom.
I mean, at
first
least
time-
Joey Votto's
first
still out there
time.
having fun, right? So on Instagram, MLB posted, drop your boldest NL Central prediction. And, Joey, being the social media mecca that he is, responded with extraterrestrials. Dang it, I made it too big. Extraterrestrials arrive on Earth April 15th. The 12-2 Reds and the rest of the planet learn from, communicate with, and befriend our alien friends. This process, there's my camera again. This process takes 5 months. Play resumes in October. The Reds sweep the playoffs and are World Series champions. Side note, the aliens ask if I would like to accompany them on their ship back to their planet. I oblige. Never to be seen again.
See ya.
You want to hear a great story?
It happened.
Today, Louisville played their final home game of the regular season, and they had the Frisbee dogs.
Yes.
And one of them just shit right in the middle of the floor.
If that's not a testament to everything that has been Louisville's season, I don't know what is.
Wow.
It had to be Triumph, right? Triumph, the insult comic dog.
Oh, yeah. For
This
sure.
is a nice basketball floor for me to poop on.
It is. It is.
I joke, I kid.
I made a
kid.
Triumph. I made a Triumph, the comic insult comic dog reference at the nurses station like
None of
last
them
week.
got it.
Like just completely.
Yeah, 20-somethings aren't going to
I'll say they're all 22, 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my wife has had diarrhea for like 6 weeks. So I made a for me to poop on joke, and they just looked at me like,
Sir?
weird old man, please go back to your wife's room.
Sounds about right.
I think that's probably what they said.
No, I'm
And that,
like that.
and that was before you told the joke.
Right. I haven't even showed Ed the one that I showed you guys last night. After the show, Ed. After the
Okay.
show.
All right.
Somebody, Tonk brought this up. Chad, I made an executive decision last night not to talk
I
about
have
this.
no idea.
You know what this is in reference to?
Yeah, he got cut, right? Like they hired a new director of player personnel or whatever.
For those listening on the podcast format, did we talk about what happened with DeBlanco yet? Would love to hear Royer's feedback. I wasn't going to put Royer on the spot in the middle of the show, asking him about one of his good friends and make him have to make that decision. DeBlanco was cut from the team. He was the captain.
Yeah.
And the coach was fired, and DeBlanco was cut immediately thereafter. Don't know what happened. It's a weird situation. As it develops, maybe we hear something, maybe we don't. But
Yeah.
I wasn't going to put one of his very good friends in a compromising position.
Correct.
So I was asked
You
about
try
it
to
before.
do things the right way.
I was asked about it before the show. We had, I think, maybe 45 seconds to a minute and a half with Ryan before we went live, and was not going to ask or put him in that position. So there is that. But as for the just wrapping up the Reds talk, I've been encouraged by what I've seen thus far out of spring training. Obviously, spring training, when you have starters going one inning at a time, is what it is. Like, you don't really know what you have, not this early in. We're, I think, 4 games in. Today, I believe they won 7-1, if I'm not mistaken. Happy to see them tack on some runs, but it's spring training.
I mean, really, like, I've got radio tomorrow. I'm going to talk about this a little tomorrow. Like, what about this season is going to excite you? There's one obvious.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Yes, we all want to see.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number one, like up here, like off of the screen, up here.
With bells on, right?
Yeah. Number 2, can Hunter Green become
the guy?
A top of the league, not a top of the Reds rotation, a top of the National League starter. Not necessarily a Cy Young winner, but like, is he going to be one of those 7 to 10 guys?
Can he be an ace?
Yes, like that's
for a
what
team.
I'm getting at. Yeah.
Can he be an ace for a team?
Yeah.
And if he's an ace for a team, I think that puts him in the top 10 range for the National League.
Right. Yeah. You said it better than me because I
you can
make things different.
Feel free to borrow that.
An ace, an ace. I'm gonna
write that down. That was my Van Wilder impression for you.
Ace
for the team.
Ace. I got it. Thank you.
Can you tell me how you spelled ace?
Oh God.
ARSE.
So I thought.
Ace.
Good call.
It's French. It's French.
Thrifty says Lodolo looked great today.
But Lodolo's not going to be an ace.
Can we talk about Thrifty's other comment? Honestly, he wants to cancel the Red season, and the only thing he wants to see is Joey Votto versus Joe Burrow in chess.
Who's the better Joe?
Yeah. Lodolo's not going to be an ace. I think Lodolo can be a solid 2-3. He's got great command. He's got good stuff, but he's not an ace. I don't see him as an ace.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that if Hunter Green is your ace.
Right, of course.
That's
one of those things in sports where, there are 5 starting pitchers, and saying you think a guy is a 2 is not an insult to the guy.
Correct. I just wanted to also agree with you in that regard.
Yeah. But you need Hunter Green to be the ace.
And I think that you also need Lodolo to be a solid number 2, which means that you're going to get a dog shit outing from him every once in a while.
Sure.
But you're hoping that you're getting...
But it has to be every once in a while.
Right. You're hoping that you get 7 solid, 2 great, and that 1 shitty one in 10, right?
Hey, just real quick, I got this guy on Facebook sending me direct messages telling me that I have Wes Miller's nuts in my mouth, so that's pretty cool.
What kind? Pecans?
He said salty.
Cashews?
No, he said sugar-coated. Yeah.
Honey roasted.
I would imagine. I would go with honey roasted.
I went to Costco the other day.
You're right, though. Wes is from
Costco guys?
Sam's Club. Sam's Club. We talked about this last week.
I'm a Costco guy.
We talked about this last week.
Honey roasted mix.
Dude, you can't go wrong with a good can of mixed nuts.
I got
cashews, almonds, pecans, and pistachios, all honey roasted.
Especially pistachios.
I got regular salted cashews upstairs.
I like to get the pistachios that are still in the shell, so I have to work for them.
Not here for that.
You go ahead. Nope, that's not it.
That was a cashew.
Nope, it's a walnut.
All right.
There's not many pistachios on the top of this thing.
Didn't have eating nuts with Chad as a segment on the docket tonight.
It's a good segment. It's a good segment. We can make a graphic for it.
In any case,
what kind of nuts are in? Never mind.
There's one.
Pistachio. I had the Starbucks pistachio cold brew this weekend. That's pretty good.
What a review. You stopped really the show for that shit.
Well, somebody might go tomorrow.
It was really
show up at
good.
Starbucks, say, what do I want? And might say, oh, Ed said that was really good.
Oh, my God.
Those honey roasted nuts were delicious.
All right. So I did want to talk about the Bengals just briefly.
I'll
Taylor
talk about the
Lewan.
Bengals too.
Is it Taylor Lewan? Is that how
I think it's Luwan.
Lewan. So he's cut by the Tennessee Titans this week. He makes a
Left tackle, right?
It's a tackle at this point. Let's just call him a tackle. He's aged.
Getting up there.
He's aged.
He's aged. Had a hard time staying on the field last year.
He does a podcast, Bussin' with the Boys, on Barstool,
Awesome.
and he made reference on his own podcast that the Bengals are looking for a tackle.
He gave a couple names of a couple teams. I listened to that podcast, and he did put the Bengals in there. He actually kind of seemed really excited about the Bengals.
And
I imagine it would be because it's close to Tennessee. His family's in Tennessee, so
And you get to play with Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
So I and that's what the point I'm getting to is I think that in now Joe's 4th season, we are finally at the point where it's an attractive place to play.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Corey Dillon thing, right? Corey Dillon wanted to go to the Patriots because he was going towards the end of his playing years, and he wanted to win a championship. And well, I would like to play with Tom Brady to win a championship as well.
I would not have gone there with the example that I would have made, but I'm happy that you did.
It's a solid one.
It made sense. As opposed to your pistachio.
Should have said Chad
Starbucks
Johnson,
order.
but Chad Johnson did not get a Super Bowl. And
I don't. I think this offseason is going to be intriguing in that for the first time in any of our lives, I think that we are going to finally see this team attract veterans that we've not seen this team do ever. Pay attention, man.
That was funny. You got to read it. It was funny.
Thrifty Walrus. Every time Big Ed interrupts Aaron and talks about soccer, Aaron sighs the same way my dad would when I asked him to rate my cannonball for the 15th time in 20 minutes as a kid.
Dad, how about this one?
Look,
Dad, how about this one?
That's the best zinger that Thrifty Walrus has had in about 2 weeks. I'm really happy that he finally got his A game back.
How high did that
done.
splash go, Dad? How
Dad,
high did that splash
no,
go?
not after Ed, before. Dad, how about this one? Dad, please love me. Dad.
Put your phone away and pay attention to me. But I think for the first time in our lives,
Yeah.
in our lives, this place is going to be a place where guys seek out how can we get to Cincinnati.
Well, apparently Dion tried to, but that's another story.
I don't know if I believe that story.
Oh, no, it's true.
That's true. I believe it.
It's true.
I know people.
I don't want to believe that story.
He wanted to stay in
'Cause it
Cincinnati.
hurts.
Like he legitimately did.
I don't want to believe that.
He doesn't want to believe it because it hurts.
No, there's no one that can verify that this story actually happened. This could just be revisionist history. I don't want to believe that story.
Okay, back to Taylor Will.
Revisionist history from Deion Sanders because he said it.
Straight from him.
Like it wasn't speculation. Deion Sanders says, I wanted to play football for the Bengals, and they didn't even answer. Like they didn't even call me.
He can make that up right now, and no one can verify whether it's true or not.
So just nothing you say is true because anybody could debunk it.
Correct. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it.
Brenix was sick today. You're a liar, Aaron. You're a liar.
Lying.
Sometimes.
Right?
Depends. Did laundry get done or did it not get done? She was sick.
I don't know why her nose isn't running anymore, but it was running from 8 a.m. to like 4:30 at least.
It's that weird like daytime nose run. It's strange. Never seen such a thing.
Thrifty Walrus.
Again,
Mike
he's
Brown's-
not a eater.
Yeah, in Mike Brown's defense, if a superstar calls the Bengals in the 90s begging to play for you, you got to assume it's a prank call.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They also didn't have a GM or like a director of scouting or like who did he call?
In the 90s, Mike Brown has to figure out how to answer his Nokia 5320.
Here's the problem. Deion called Katie, and Katie was like 14. It's just like, hello?
My dad gave me this pager. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
18, not 14. 14 sounded weird. I'm sorry. 18. Katie was 18.
Don't know what I'm supposed to do with this pager. It keeps going off. Who are these people?
Deion Sanders, Warren Sapp. I've never heard of these guys before.
What's football?
I don't know. That was all I wanted to get off about the Bengals. Just
it's a couple other Bengals developments today too. Duke Tobin was at the combine.
You're right.
And he was asked about trade rumors for T. Higgins, that teams wanting T. Higgins, and basically, and I don't have the whole quote. I saved it, but I'm not going to look it up right now. But basically saying T. Higgins is ours. They can go find somebody else.
Yeah, we're not here to make the rest of the league better. That's kind of been their thing about like we drafted these guys, and we did not do it to like make you better.
Yeah, basically he said go find. Yeah, exactly what Chad said. Go find somebody else because you ain't getting them. I love that stance.
Joe said the same thing in the offseason, though, where he said, I'm not going to restructure my contract where I can't keep my guys.
Yeah.
Which to me says we're keeping Chase and T. Those are my guys. And I don't even know they're ruling out keeping Tyler at this point.
No, I think they're probably looking at keeping Tyler as well.
Because his next contract is not going to be pricey. Not if you look at his stat production. Because he's only putting up a handful of 100-yard games. He's not putting up 1,000-yard seasons anymore. Not with both those guys there. So, I don't know.
There was one more other development this week, too. But now I can't think of.
What?
It's like a trade development. Like a trade rumor, right?
Well, Bobby Wagner coming to the Bengals is another veteran free agent that people are talking about as he was cut by the Rams.
I would just like to point out almost none of those things ever happen.
Yeah,
sure,
that's true.
But it's just funny to see
the
Bengals the Bengals are being listed as the number one destination for these cut free agents that were Pro Bowlers, perennial Pro Bowlers for a portion of their careers. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see about that. And I know people are still concerned about, do you re-sign Jonah Williams? Do you move on from Jonah Williams? What do you do in regards to?
Well, this is
Jonah
just
Williams?
the fifth-year option for him, right? Like he's here on a fifth-year option. Regardless.
Correct.
Yeah. I found the full quote from Duke Tobin. It says, I'm in the business of making the Cincinnati, because the full quote sounds more badass than the way we made it sound. I'm in the business of making Cincinnati Bengals better, so trading T. Higgins is not on my mind. That's their problem. They want a receiver? Go find your own. In my opinion, T. Higgins is a good piece of the Cincinnati Bengals. The trade stuff is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear from your GM.
Real GMs move in silence.
He should go down the street and go talk to another GM.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on the Bengals, I guess. Obviously, as it gets closer to, the combine happening this week, we'll see what happens with that. That's going to heat up mock draft talks. Oh, okay.
I got more Bengals. This is kind of more like the random stuff at the end show, but it's Bengals related. XFL AJ McCarron. What a story. I am here. I'm a Battlehawks fan. I'm here to see AJ McCarron go in and win the first ever. Well, no, they completed the first season. I'm here to see him win an XFL title.
Okay.
The story, he quit. He stopped playing. He decided to go to the XFL because he wanted his kids to see him play. He wanted to play. He's tired of sitting on the bench. He said himself, yeah, being a backup quarterback is good money. It's a good career, but I want to win. I want to play. And he's out there putting dimes in the end zone.
I want to ask about something else from the XFL.
What, the replay system? Because that's awesome too.
No.
Oh.
Are you willing to give up onside kicks for 4th and 15s?
Is that something they're doing?
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't watched any XFL.
So if you're in a situation where you're down late, they don't onside kick. They give you a chance to go for 4th and 15, and if you get it, you just keep going. Like it's from like the 20, you got to get to the 35. I don't know the specific details, but like you have to get a 4th and 15, or the other team gets the ball back, and you're pretty much dead at that point in time, or you just kick off and try to play.
I kind of like it because how often do you really convert an onside kick? I mean, Pat did it a couple times in his career. Yeah, very low. So why not? I mean,
it's not like 4th and 15 is a high percentage thing.
It's not. So why not? I mean, if you're going to go for it, go for it.
I like 4th and 15. Give me your best 4th and 15 play.
I'm here for it.
The defense is going to be playing like at the sticks.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find something creative. I know my guy, Mike DeCourcy, hated it. He compares it to the NBA timeout to advance the ball rule late in the game.
Oh.
I just think it's more interesting than an onside kick.
It's more gameplay.
Yeah. Go get
more
it.
Gameplay.
Go get your 15.
And that's the stuff the NFL can try out in the XFL.
Right. And then if you get it, the drive's alive. All right, now we're moving. Now we're going.
Here for it.
You can get 40. You can get 40 on 4th and 15.
Yeah.
And now it counts. And now you're almost in field goal range.
I watched the first 2 XFL games on that Saturday when they first started. And I wasn't really impressed. But then that Sunday, I thought it picked up a little bit. And I think week 2 it picked up. So I'm liking it.
Kathy, Jeff has been
he's working
to
the bone.
Been working.
He's been summoned.
His job changed his shift. We're hoping that he'll be back next week for the next 4 weeks, apparently. Wait and see. The only other topic I had, I guess, is spring football is right around the corner for the Bearcats. And I know they're going to go into a deep dive on offense, defense, what their expectations are between Chad and Dave on the BCJ pod. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are right now as we go. I know you are what we would call a casual for UC football. But first off, with it being the first season in the Big 12, are you going to be paying more attention this week or this year? Or have you been distracted enough by soccer that you're going to kind of keep one eye on it, but not really invested?
I could be invested in both, I think. No, yeah, definitely going into the Big 12, I'm going to be a little bit more invested than I have been in the past. I don't want to say the past because the 2021 season, right? The playoff. Yeah, thank you. Was it 2021? Yeah, because 2020 was a COVID year. So 2021 season, very interested in that. Very, very attached to that. Great season. Wonderful season. Best season ever. Last year.
Also the most boring spring football ever.
Ever.
Well, because we knew what it was going to be.
We knew everything.
We knew everything.
There were no surprises.
We're going to the Big 12. We got Scott Satterfield as a new coach. All these new assistant coaches, all this stuff. I think I'm going to be a little bit more invested this year than I was last year. I think I could be invested in both soccer and football, though.
Even if this team only manages 5 wins.
Dude, the expectations going into the Big 12, you can't set them that high. We just talked about a minute ago, right? 25 win season in basketball this year. We consider it a win. 21 win season next year in the Big 12, absolutely a win. So you got 2 different types, or I guess 2 different tractions here. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
Expectations.
Levels. Yeah. I got levels on. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here for it. Also, the QB battle. Like I was just flipping through Twitter in Lichtenberg. A video popped up. Yeah, a video popped to him just doing like no look passes. On, there at Nippard.
Mr. Jugs, right, Chad?
I think you said yes. So the quarterback battle is going to be pretty interesting this year. Let's get rolling.
Obviously, in that regard, you still have Ben here.
Ben's still here. Prater's still here.
Prater is still here. Brady Lichtenberg has been here. But you also brought in Emory Jones, who started at both Arizona State last year and started at Florida the year before that.
Yeah.
So he I sincerely doubt is coming here to ride the bench, as he's been a starter at two fairly well accoladed schools prior to.
So then you think about spring ball, and you kind of watch some of these quarterbacks, and you wonder, all right, are any of these guys, based off of the reps that they're getting in spring ball and the talks they're having with coaches, are they going to go put themselves in the transfer portal?
You also have Brady Drogish, who comes in as Mr. Michigan, and I don't know. I mean, you got a lot going on at quarterback. There's question marks all over both offense and defense. I don't know that we really know that anybody's spot who was a starter last season is safe, with a brand new coaching staff coming in and new schemes, new defenses.
I did just see that Kiner got new wheels on his whip.
I think Dante Corleone will start.
I think that you're probably correct there. But is he going to start? Is he going to start over Briggs?
I think Dante Corleone will start. I don't know how that'll play out. I think Dante Corleone will start. So
Briggs kicks out to end? Or are you running not a 3-3-5 anymore? Maybe you're running.
I think Dante Corleone will start.
Chad, I have a real quick question. I saw they took the bubble down, and I know you just had John Cunningham.
That's it. It's dead, the bubble.
So, yeah, I know you just had John Cunningham on the show.
We did.
A couple weeks ago, right? So, and I may have missed this question. When do we expect, do we expect to have an indoor training center for next season?
Next week.
Yeah, no. They expect the indoor facility to take 1 year to build, and then an extra 6 months to complete the companion offices and weight room and all of that stuff.
Okay. Is it going in that spot?
Yep.
So that's why the bubble's coming down. Okay.
They'll be able to practice in it by next winter.
I got you.
By next spring.
I still think it would have been cool if they could have teamed up with the Bengals to build like a really, really
Why would you do that?
Not.
Why?
Give the players okay, all right, whatever. That's fine.
You're going to give the Bengals, if you do that with the Bengals are going to demand priority access.
That's a good point. All right, that's a good point.
So, if you want to practice at 9 and the Bengals are going to practice at 9, sorry.
See, I didn't completely think that went through in my head.
That's what I'm here for, Ed.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's why I should draw this stuff out before I say it.
Where are they going to practice next year when it's next winter when it's cold?
There's gonna probably be a 3-month window where the indoor facility's not done yet. So maybe they rent out when necessary. Maybe they rent out the Bengals facility, or maybe they just practice in the cold for a couple months.
Okay, just curious. I didn't know.
No, I mean it's a legit question. It's certainly not going to be done by November.
My. Now how the tables have turned. I tried to do a Michael Scott quote, and then I completely forgot this quote while I was saying it.
I think you even just said squote. That said,
you would have called it a squote.
Yeah, I just was curious to get maybe a guy that's not quite so tapped into football as Chad and I, to get thoughts on what your expectations are this season. So, I don't really have much else. do you have anything else, Edward?
Feel like I did.
Did you watch
The NIL. And so I only found a little bit about this. Did you see that the NCAA first hit on the first NIL ruling?
Of course it's Miami. Of course it's Miami.
I kind of caught one of the Barstool guys put a TikTok up, and these twins, I guess, what?
Yeah, these twins. Yep.
They're gonna penalize them for doing what all the dudes are doing too. Like they're going to the school that's offering the most money.
Miami put the microscope on them for NIL when the biggest donor for Miami,
the NIL guy, right?
Yeah, when he came out and said you can't leave, and essentially like went public with, I'm paying you money, you can't leave, you have to come here, you have to stay.
He actually played Hotel California.
Welcome.
So you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Hey, Chad? Good story. I got sent home by my manager when I worked at Low Bills, Aaron, because my manager and I were stocking like something in the frozen food section. I think it was ice cream, and Hotel California came on the the speaker system, and he said, "Ed, do you know what this song's about?" And I said, "Well, Mike, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I imagine it's about a hotel in California." And you know what he said to me? "All right, go home, smart ass."
Good on him.
Sent me home for the rest of the day.
That's fair.
You went home?
I had to go home.
I'm really proud of him, actually.
I like this guy. Can we get him on the show?
There are times
I'm still friends with him on Facebook. We might be able to, yeah.
There are times.
Let's get him on the show. Yeah. I want to get him on the show to ask what it was like to be your manager.
Probably said it was great.
That's up to him. Like we're gonna have to talk to him about that.
I ran that whole store.
But like I said, of course, it was Miami. It was always going to be Miami.
Was he aware that you ran the whole store?
I mean, I did, dude. If we want to talk about, like, I was a cashier, a bagger.
You okay, Brent?
I was in produce, Aaron. I was in produce. I was in dairy. I was the frozen foods manager, and I was also.
I'm not interested in how many sections you were eating food out of.
No, these are all areas where I worked. I also worked on the deli counter.
Yeah, I stand by what I said.
Yeah, I ran that place.
I shopped in produce. I shopped in dairy. I shopped in frozen foods.
No, that was
about to go Malik Van on this.
Oh, I just had to get more of the story, and that's the rest of the story.
Thrifty Wallace said, back to the Bearcats in a bubble, said that they are actually going to be busting the Bengals bubble all next season. Pat McAfee is excited because he is getting just to recycle his zingers. And then David Mann said that I just told a hell of a story about Hotel California.
It was a story.
Leader of fun.
It was certainly a story.
I just noticed this is a new thing that we can add to our names.
All right. Well,
everything else to talk about.
Like I said, of course it was going to be Miami. It was always.
What do you think of the Murdoch trial?
Christ Almighty! Let me finish wrapping up the NIL. It was always going to be Miami. They are the ones who were out in front of this before everybody, and the most boisterous about the way that they were running their NIL collective shell game, shell company, whatever you want to call it.
No, there's no shell company. It was a billionaire that was just like, I'm going to pay for my team to win. Like,
I'm sure there were. It's Miami. There's always shell companies.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there were like this literally was just a billionaire that was like, I have a company that I am going to use to pay people as
Miami
much as
coin
humanly possible.
Miami coin was
come
his
here
company.
to come here and win. Like that's it. That's all he was interested in.
But
did anybody else see the picture that Aaron's sister posted on Facebook of him looking like one of the members of Newfound Glory?
Thanks.
Did you just take us all out?
I was messing with stuff. So.
No.
All right.
I'll tweet it.
I mean, when we're talking about Facebook, I think the show's over.
I'll tweet it.
It's time to go.
That was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. Thanks for Chad for stopping in after he got done with his radio training course.
47-minute video training course. It was.
Jeff, I hope that you're not sleeping and you actually were working again tonight because we're still confused about this whole this Wednesday.
I'm not confused. He's not coming back this week.
This Wednesday, next Wednesday. I'm not. What Wednesday? Maybe we should ask for dates next time.
We should let Aaron sign off so he can get some sleep because apparently he doesn't know how to read.
We're gonna finish the show the same way we started the show. Chad, no, get it out of here. Get the credits out of here. Chad, when someone says on a Tuesday, we'll go with Tuesday.
It was a Sunday.
If I said to you today, hey Chad, I'll be with you for the next 4 Saturdays, would you assume that it's the following?
That's not, but that you're saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong.
Read the text.
All right, I will.
Smarty pants.
Where is our? Oh, there it is. All right. So I said,
God damn it! I'm gonna have it read before Ed even can get to what he's doing.
We got to start talking about a golf outing. Here it is. I wrote Jeff on Sunday and I said, Jeff, will you be back this week or are they still working you to the bones? His response, still working me to the bones, but I should be back for the next 4 weeks.
That was on Sunday.
But mine said, are you coming back? Or
sounds to me like
still working you to the bones. And he said, still working me to the bones. So that tells me he's not.
That's an ongoing thing. It's always happening. That's never stopping. But I'll be back Tuesday in the 3 after that. That's how I read it.
Chad?
We'll see you next week. Part of the punctuation. 9:15. Tuesday. Sit!
Maybe Jeff will be here.
He will.